Okay. Yep. Hi, you guys. Okay. So today I started a little bit. Well, no, I was kind of early, but I had to take a break. So I got back up and started a little bit late. Um, but I hope I don't forget what was dropped down into my spirit. And while I was laying down and I was reading and I was reading more on mental illnesses, some of the ones in particular, and how uh, their success rate as far as being in the society, and also the suicide rate. Because a lot of them have suicide rates. Almost all of them do, but some of them have them more than others. And then within the time span, some of them have more than others. Like a person, for example, a person with schizophrenia or schizo affective disorder has a higher chance of committing suicide within the next 3 months after being released from a program than someone who has bipolar disorder. However, the chances of someone having bipolar disorder killing themselves is higher for them to commit suicide than a person with schizophrenia or that schizo paranoia or schizoaffective disorder. So anyhow, I was looking at that, and I don't know how this seeped in, and it was talking about God was just showing me things about cases and how things stand, like legal groundings and things like that. And I remember my mom, because if you guys don't know, my mom does suffer from manic depression, what they call that, bipolar disorder now, and also schizophrenia. But before she was diagnosed with all of those illnesses, my mom went to school for law. So, um, when she got locked up and a lot of things like that, she taught me a lot about the law, and how she used to always tell me, even when I remember when I was in kindergarten and I got in trouble. I got in trouble because I had a lot of cousins and cousins that were related to my other cousins, which we consider cousins. We all went to school together. It was a lot of us in the same grade because we were born in months, like literally months, sometimes days apart. So we were all, if we weren't in the same kindergarten classes, the class was right next door and everybody knew. So this one time I remember I got a paddling, which was not authorized by my family. Doesn't believe in other people disciplining disciplining us outside of the family. Um, but we did get disciplined. We definitely did. At the end of the day, I probably would have wanted those people to discipline me than my family members, because it was real. I don't know what they do now, but anyhow, who I got in trouble because we had, like, I remember we had some fruit cocktail, the tray lunches. I used to have a bag lunch, but I would trade my lunch items for like the other kids, like candy bars or anything that they would get on the lunch trays that they would get from school, because I couldn't have that. I had to have the granola bars, the oatmeals, that kind of thing, and I had lots of it, because my grandmother used to always pack my lunch, and she used to always pack me 3 lunches in a day, just in case somebody else didn't have a lunch that day. So, if everybody has a lunch that day and I didn't have to give it, I can trade it off. So that's what I used to do. Showed me a lot about wealth too, and business. But anywho, so as I traded this fruit cocktail with this girl, I think her name was like Chicago or something like that. But I remember the girl was laughing before I could even get it, and it fell on my cousin's head. She started crying, And because of that, they said that we were playing with food, and we both got a paddle in. And I was just like shocked that somebody else touched me. But at the same time, I didn't want to go and tell my grandmother or my aunt like what happened, because I knew that I was going to get in trouble. So that little trouble of paddling, weighing it out was a lot better than getting trouble at home. So when my mom called and she was in prison, I remember I told my mom that I told my mom first. And I was like, and I didn't even do it. And she stopped me right there. And she's like, there are a lot of people that are in the place that I'm in right now that didn't do it. Where were you supposed to be? What were you supposed to be doing? That is the thing, because if you would have been doing the right thing in the first place, it would have never occurred. This incident would have never occurred. Now, that might sound harsh to a lot of people, but as I grow older, I understand this so much, and as you grow, you start seeing people, I saw, I lived in a neighborhood where if you you moved outside. Once you lived in that neighborhood, you had a stigma. People will put a stigma. Oh, everyone lives in poverty and they don't know anything and all that. So if you go outside of that zone, and even if you're becoming better or doing something better, you still have that stigma. So people are going to treat you differently based off of who you look like, who you're around, who they think you're around because of how you look. Doesn't matter if you put on nice clothes or whatever. It just does not matter. People have that stigma. It's nothing that you can actually do, because you can't change anyone how they feel, and how they treat, or how people treat you. You just can't. You can excuse me, you can go back, you can change the way that you react to those people or limit your time with them, but you definitely can't change how they feel about you and how they treat you. Learned that very well. And so my mom literally just told me that, like, there are a lot of people, and she even said, like, I shouldn't be in here. I should be somewhere in a mental institution trying to get help, because I asked for help. But based off of technicality, I'm sitting here, and I have to endure it. It's a lot of hard things. And I was just like, whoa, like, I didn't understand it. So she reminded me of that. My grandparents were also kind of like that too. I remember when one of my friends, when you're growing up, you're walking home, and I was so excited to walk home. I could not walk home, you guys, until I want to say like middle school. Matter of fact, I walked home when I was in elementary school, because I lived across the street when I lived with my aunt. When I moved from my grandmother's house and lived with my aunt, I could walk home because it literally was across the street. It was like down the street, across that way. That's the only way that I could walk. Other than that, we didn't get to walk a lot to school and from school. So I remember in middle school that I could do that. They trusted you a little bit. You can walk with friends and not family members. In elementary, I had to walk with my family. I could not walk with my friends to school, could not walk back. Middle school, you're kind of happy, right? So I remember my friend at the time, her and her sister, they used to steal a lot, and I used to get very afraid. So and I would cry, y'all. I would cry, y'all, so much. I would cry like, no. I mean, they were still like crazy stuff. Like, I didn't understand that they would have money in their pocket and still take the stuff. So I would cry, and they would say, Belle, just go and walk. Just walk ahead of us. Like, just don't. And I remember that they had got caught one day. One of the sisters got caught one day. And I wasn't with them on that day. I didn't walk home that day. I think I had a doctor's appointment or something with my asthma, something like that. But the security guard that was there, who told the police, oh, she's with them, she walks with them and blah, blah, this. Now, fortunately, the police officer knew who my grandmother was and was like, no, she's not part of them. She's just with them. But he was just so persistent. And my grandmother went up to the store one time, and he was telling her the story. And I was like, look, I didn't have anything to do with them. I was just walking, and she literally looked at me and said, "That does not matter. You're considered." He didn't even care. He never saw you. And when she even asked him, like, did you ever see her take anything? He's like, no, I never seen her took anything, because like I said, they would have me walk past, like, y'all, I would be crying for a whole day. Like, I would get so nervous to even walk to school with them. They would get so mad and talk about me about that too. But whatever, that was just neat. So she just really just like, I got in trouble. Let me tell you, I got a whooping, y'all. I got a whooping. I got a punishment just like as if I stole, because I was around those girls, okay? And my grandmother just dealt with it as if I did it, That's the same thing like if one of my cousins, and that was another thing we used to get in trouble for. If my cousins did something and I witnessed that it was bad and I didn't say anything, and I knew it was bad, I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to get in trouble as well, because I'm doing, I'm in trouble. Think about that with the law. There are a lot of people that are locked up because they didn't do anything wrong, but they were together next to the person. That's the same thing that happened to my cousin, her family dynamic situation. A lot of people, a lot of guys are locked up that way just because they're hanging around some knucklehead who's doing something crazy and they don't even know what's going on. Or they have someone riding in a car who has drugs on them and they go to jail because it's their car. And the person, who has drugs, they done got off, but just because you were transporting the person and you didn't know it was in there, you're there. So you are linked by association. It was based off of a technicality. Yes. And a lot of those people, a lot of those judges and a lot of those people know that the people, even though those people get to have to serve time that didn't do anything, they know that, but they know what the law is. And based off of that technicality, they are subject to the same punishment as a person who did it. Okay. So God was just showing me that. So I was just like, oh my goodness. And so God was just telling me to seal the holes, like seal the holes. A lot of things that are going to come from me, God has been showing me, is because of a technicality, loopholes. A lot of things that have happened to me was based off of technicalities. Me not getting roles and not getting places and not getting positions, but God was literally showing me, like, downloaded. I was sitting here and it was just like trickling in, as if God was showing me this is going to happen on a technicality. Yeah, yeah. There was another lady who talked about what she say, loopholes. I'm gonna tell you guys, what was her name? Oh my goodness, how did I forget her name? She's like a little bit older than me. What is her name? Dr. Alexis. That's what I'm saying. Look on Doc. Look, Dr. Alexis loopholes. Now I had this this dream about like technicalities, basically, like how things were happening to me, but everything was going to be reversed because I was following God and I was leaning on God, not because I was anything special. It was just because I put God's name first and I was trying to do it the best way I can. Doesn't mean that I was perfect. Does not mean that I did things exactly how God told me to do, or I didn't mess up. It was because I humbled myself and I felt and listen to God, listen to the voice of God and heard him and just try to do it the best way I can. And when I messed up, repent, listen, go back, like constant. During this journey, I promise you, I almost felt like I love adventures. I'll tell you that. I love adventures and I love things that are very staggered and very things that are, going against the odds. Because I strive against that. Anytime I have some kind of obstacle and it feels like it's going to crush me, even though I feel nervous and anxious, at the same time I feel excited and giddy because I understand, based off of the situations that I had before, that it's going to be another breakthrough. I never have any type of break. I've never had, some people are like that. I never have been that person that had just a breakthrough just come out. Mine's has always had to be some kind of pressure, some kind of resistance. And I mean like fire, like boom, boom, boom. You know, it has to be all in one, just doom, 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 doom. And I have to get up and, hey, little one, get my little doggy. I have to literally get up and push and break through like that. It's almost like I literally take my fist and just like anywho. So yeah, if you guys have any time, definitely look at Dr. Alessa's video. I think she made that like it was like the beginning of coronavirus, and she was talking about how loopholes. And God had showed me that I was going to get some of the certifications that I needed for me to start this business and to do the things, because this is what he planned. It wasn't like something that I just stirred up or anything. This came from God. So he has to stand on his word and supply what it is and supply my needs. So that's what I got. So I was like, let me make this video and show you guys, like, seal up. When I say seal up the holes, I mean seal up. For me, sealing up the holes is trying to do my best that I can and do what God told me, and making sure that I don't go against God's word as far as offending people. I'm not saying offending people personally, because when you're doing anything right and moving into any kind of motion, even if you're doing things wrong, you're going to offend people. Some people are just going to be offended. You don't even have to say anything to them, or do anything to them or for them or anything like that. They're going to have an opinion. Some people are just going to be offended. That's different. But I mean, just as far as attacking someone or attacking their way or anything, no. What else? Yeah, repenting to God and asking for grace and mercy to fill up the things that I fall short on. And to remember that a lot of races and a lot of judgment cases are won on technicalities. People think about Breonna Taylor, think about George Floyd, think about all those things. And you see, and it looks like injustice. Well, based off the law, they won. They literally won. They literally made it. It was based off of a technicality. One thing that was in the books that made that crack work, like, okay, Breonna Taylor's case, and people talk about that, and that's kind of harsh, and it's, even though, I really don't stand for that whole movement, but I do believe that injustice for Black people that's far overdue. And no one should have had to lose their life for that. That's bull crap, especially someone who's wearing the blue. So, that shows how much blue sticking together. But anyhow, the people who shot her, they didn't get charged with the bullets that killed her. They got charged for the bullets that missed her. Technicality, okay? So that sounds like bullcrap, right? Okay, well, you did it, but you didn't. You're not gonna get charged for those, but you can get charged for the ones that didn't get them. See what I'm saying? Like that is what it is. So you have to understand, when you're dealing with fighting a war or anything like that, it's based off of technicalities. You win wars off of technicalities. You win wars off the small things. You win games, basketball games, from free throws. The technicalities, the fouls and getting to the line. That's why you want to get fouled a lot. Everybody loves the 3-point shot, but you know what? Free throws and layups make the game. Free throws and layups make the game, y'all. It's more people that make the short baskets than the people who make the long baskets. Yeah, it's more people that make the dunks than the people that makes the threes. So, what else? Soccer. Technicalities. When, you're getting the points and you're getting the things moved back. Football. Technicalities. Baseball. Definitely technicality, okay? Law. Technicality. Everything that surrounds us is based off of, off of the laws that we govern, but most of them are won. If you're winning battles, it's based off of technicality. Another example of that is, say for instance, someone charges your card, or you charge your card for $56, and for a item that you never got, you pay for it, but the person tried to gyp you, and they sent it to the wrong address. Now, you say that is fraud, it never got you, but the stipulation is in order for it to be refunded to you, you have to have it, they have to have the right address, they have to have everything right, and they have to make things right. Townsend, Tawanda, nope. I don't even know that number. So they send it off. The merchandise is bad, you find out, but you make this claim, right? So then you call your bank, you go and dispute it. They trace it back. They see that you actually did order it. So it's not fraud, but based off of what the information that they have, it's not the right address, it's not to the right sender, not to that. You are entitled to have that money back. Well, that's the same thing that that cases are one off. That's how that case is one off. How we deal in regular everyday life, and how we deal with the presence of God and the things of God. Thinking about having a cursed object in your house. If God says He doesn't want that in there, and you're anointing your place, you can have the Holy Spirit doing everything, speaking in tongues. But if you have something that is not supposed to be there, or something that's stolen, or something, it's no covering. It's just like boom, nothing. So yeah, seal up the holes. Get the things out of your life that needs to be getting out of your life. And families, friends, I don't give a care what it is. Items that you might have taken that was not it, things that are distracting you from your health. Anything that is taking you away from what your purpose is supposed to be. Seal up those holes and ask God to cover you as you do that, and to cover you, seal up the holes to when you feel like you're vulnerable and you need those things, or you need those people, or you need those items to fill the void, to seal up the gap and fulfill you with something that He has designed for you. So, yeah, I think that is about it. I'm going to get off here because I got a lot to do. Hopefully, something I said or done will help you on your journey. And please stay tuned to Journey to Jerusalem. I'm going to get off here. Bye. Great.